Now, if one has these red, green, blue colored LED strips, you can cut them at designated areas. You will see that there are little parts where you can weld it. So here you can weld it, here you can weld it, here you can weld it, and you can cut it anywhere where there's a little line across, and you can see the copper for where you're going to weld it. And then you will also notice that on this side is the ground. It tells you it's ground. On this side, it's 5 volts. And in the middle, it says data in. There's an arrow and data out. My cat wants to get in on the action. There's his paw. So once you've cut your strip, you solder. So there's the cat's feet. Do you want to get in on the video? Anyway, so once you have cut it, you then solder the ground wire, the data wire, and the 5-volt wire. And now we go to the Arduino side of things. So this is the 5-volt pin. That's just pulled out, so let's just push it back in. It says 5 volts there. So you put the 5 volts into the 5-volt hole. This is the ground hole, tells you it's ground. And then, so that says 5 volts, ground. And then that is the pin number 6. So those are your only 3 wires that you need. It's actually dead, really it is dead simple. There's the cat walking over the electronics again. So there's the 5-volt lead, there's the ground lead, and here is the data pin attached to number 6, and there's your Arduino cable. Once you have plugged in your Arduino Uno and you've gone to the Arduino app, you have to download the code that you're going to do to run this. Now, I simply got the code from a website. I'll show you that in a moment. And the website used fast LED. So you have to include fast LED. And to do that, you go to your tools, manage libraries. Just wait a second, it'll come up. You type here fast LED, and then here you install fast LED. You can select your version, whichever you want, and then you install it. Then it will automatically add fast LED to your library. And then I got my code by going to this website here, robotics.org.za, and you can see the website. We are using these WS2812B LEDs, but in a strip, not the single individual LEDs. And then here it gives you the code. So I just copied and pasted this code into the Arduino app and ran it, and it worked perfectly. So it's just that simple. You have to install the fast LED part of the library, and then you copy that code and then you dump it into your Arduino code, save it, run it, and that's how easy it is to get it to work. And after I'd done that, I then just modified the program a little bit by, I wrote my own little bit of code here for I equals naught, I less than the 4 LEDs. You just have to change the number of LEDs that you're using in the code to 4 if you're using 4. If you use more than a few LEDs, you can't just plug the plus 5-volt wire into the Arduino Uno, because the Uno can only pump out so much power. You have to have an independent 5-volt power supply, such as I suppose you could use a USB or something like that. And then you must have a ground to both your power supply and the Arduino. Both of them have to have, both grounds have to be touching each other or joined. And then you have an independent 5-volt supply. But if you're only using a few LEDs, you're not going to overpower the Arduino Uno. And then you can use, like I'm using, just 4 LEDs quite comfortably. It's not going to take too much power. But if you're going to use like a meter strip, it's going to use more current than the Arduino can supply. Then you have to have an independent power supply. But otherwise, it's just that simple. It's always wonderful doing things with somebody else. It's like having many logs on a fire. Each log helps keep the other log burning. But I saw this wonderful program on quiet people. Why quiet people, the benefits of quiet people, how they're thinking. They're not just, while, loud people are always talking. While you're talking, you're probably not thinking much. But quiet people are deep thinkers, and all the advantages of being a quiet person or an introvert, I suppose. And I never thought of that before. One normally tends to pity quiet people and introverts. But with electronics, there is a great benefit in having someone who can help you. But I suppose being a quiet person or introvert, they'll just sit and they'll put in a lot of effort and work, and maybe go on the internet. There's so much YouTube. You're never alone with YouTube, and you can find the answers to your problems. But I still love that program that talked about the advantages and benefits of being a quiet person, or I suppose an introvert. No, the good book, God said that it's not good that man should be alone. But when God created Eve, he actually created competition for his affection. And in the end, Adam chose Eve over God. So, God only spent a limited amount of time with Adam, and Eve spent the whole day with Adam. And when it came to choosing the fruit, Adam knew it was wrong, but he chose the fruit because he knew that choosing the fruit was choosing Eve over God. But never forget the advantages of being alone and being happy, being an introvert, or being all alone, or accomplishing something all by yourself. You're self-motivated. You can get up and go and do it. Celebrate the fact that you can do these things alone.